know what? I'll be all right. Not because life has made it easy, not because I've been lucky, but because I've decided it has to be that way. Life doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're broken or barely holding on. It just keeps coming. Harder, faster, relentless. There have been moments where I thought I couldn't take it anymore. Times when the weight of everything felt like it would bury me alive. The pain, the loss, the failures, they don't stop, do they? They don't wait for you to catch your breath. They come all at once like a storm, leaving you drenched, cold, and lost in the dark. And yet, here I am, still standing, still breathing, still pushing forward. It's not because I'm fearless. Fear lives with me every day. It whispers in my ear, telling me to give up, to let go. Some days it screams so loud it drowns out every other thought. But I refuse to let fear decide who I am. I've been through moments where I felt like I was breaking apart, splintering into pieces so small that I could never put myself back together again. Moments where the silence of my own mind felt heavier than the world around me. Nights when I stared at the ceiling, fists clenched, chest tight, wondering how I would find the strength to face another day. But that's the thing about strength. It's not about being unshakable. It's not about being invincible. Strength is about finding one small reason to keep going, even when everything in you is begging you to stop. It's about choosing to take one more step, even when you're walking through fire. There's a lot the world doesn't see. People look at me and think I have it all figured out. They see someone who's calm, composed, resilient. They don't see the battles I've fought just to get out of bed. They don't see the days where every breath feels like a war. I've learned that life doesn't hand out victories. It doesn't reward you just for trying. But that doesn't mean the fight isn't worth it. Every scar I carry is a reminder, not of the pain I've been through, but of the battles I've survived. Every crack in my armor is proof that I've faced the fire and walked through it, even when it burned. And yes, I've fallen. I've broken. But breaking isn't the end. It's the beginning of something new. Every time I've hit rock bottom, I've discovered a strength I didn't know I had. I found a part of me that refuses to quit, even when the odds are stacked against me. Some people call it stubbornness. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just too stubborn to stay down. But isn't that what life demands of us? To keep standing, no matter how many times we're knocked down. To keep fighting, no matter how hopeless it feels. There's a fire inside me that refuses to be extinguished. Even on the darkest days, when the world feels like it's closing in, that fire burns. It may be small, just a flicker, but it's enough. It's enough to light the way forward, one step at a time. I've realized that being all right isn't about being happy all the time. It's not about pretending the pain isn't real or ignoring the scars that life has left on you. Being all right is about accepting the darkness and choosing to move through it anyway. It's about finding the strength to carry your burdens and still look for the light. And no, it's not easy. Some days it feels impossible. But here's the thing, impossible isn't a wall. It's a challenge. It's a question, asking you how much you're willing to fight for the life you want. I've made my choice. No matter what comes my way, I will be all right. Not because the road gets easier, but because I refuse to stop walking it. Not because the pain fades, but because I've learned to carry it without letting it define me. Life is a battle, but I'm a fighter. And as long as there's breath in my body, I'll keep fighting. Because that's who I am. That's what I do. I don't know what tomorrow holds. Maybe it's more storms, more heartbreak, more nights spent staring into the darkness. But no matter what it is, I'll face it. Because I've faced it all before, and I'm still here, still standing, still moving forward. And if I can do it, so can you. If you're reading this and you feel like the world is too much, like you're too broken to keep going, hear me when I say this. You are stronger than you think. You have survived every battle so far, and you will survive this one too. I'm not saying it will be easy. I'm not saying it won't hurt. But I promise you this. If you keep moving forward, if you keep fighting, you will find your way through the darkness. You will find your way to the other side. Because that's what life is. It's not a straight path, and it's not a fair fight. But it's worth it. Every step, every struggle, every moment of doubt. It's all worth it when you realize that you're still here, that you've made it through everything you thought you couldn't survive. So no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you fall, remember this: you are not alone, you are not defeated, and you will be all right. Every day feels like a battle, not the kind you fight once and walk away from, but a relentless, exhausting war that keeps dragging you back in, whether you're ready or not. There are mornings when the weight of everything hits me before I even open my eyes. It's like waking up with a mountain tied to my back. Some days, I can barely find the strength to sit up, let alone face the world. Every step feels heavier, every breath feels harder, and in those moments, I wonder how much more I can take. But here's the thing about struggle. It doesn't come with an exit sign. It doesn't let you pause or take a break. It forces you to keep going, to keep moving forward, even when every fiber of your being is screaming for you to stop. There have been times when I've thought about giving up. Times when the darkness felt so overwhelming, so suffocating, that it seemed easier to let it consume me. The whispers of doubt are always there, telling me I'm not strong enough, that I'll never make it through this. And honestly, there have been moments when I've believed those whispers. But here's what I've learned. Strength doesn't come from ignoring the struggle. It doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. Strength comes from acknowledging the pain, facing it head on, and still choosing to keep going. The world doesn't see the silent battles we fight. It doesn't see the nights spent lying awake, staring at the ceiling, questioning everything. It doesn't see the moments of quiet despair when you're holding yourself together with nothing but sheer willpower. And it definitely doesn't see the cracks in the armor, the places where the pain seeps through, no matter how hard you try to hide it. I've carried this weight for so long that some days I don't even know what it would feel like to set it down. But I've realized something important. The weight we carry doesn't define us. It shapes us, yes, but it doesn't decide who we are. There's a fire inside me, a small, stubborn flame that refuses to go out, no matter how hard the storm rages around me. Some days, that flame feels like it's barely there, just a flicker in the darkness. But even a flicker is enough. It's enough to remind me that I'm still here, still fighting, still alive. And that's the thing about struggle. It teaches you what you're made of. It forces you to dig deep, to find strength you didn't even know you had. It shows you that even when you feel like you're breaking, you're actually becoming something stronger. I've realized that survival isn't about being unshakable. It's about bending without breaking. It's about falling and getting back up over and over again until you realize that every time you rise, you're a little stronger than before. There's a kind of beauty in the struggle, though it's hard to see it when you're in the middle of it. It strips away all the distractions, all the noise, and leaves you face to face with who you really are. And in those moments, when you're standing at the edge of everything you thought you couldn't survive, you realize that you're so much stronger than you ever imagined. But that doesn't mean it's easy. There are still days when the pain feels unbearable, when the doubts creep back in and try to pull me under. And on those days, I remind myself of this. I've made it through every storm so far. I faced every challenge, every heartbreak, every loss, and I'm still here. The struggle isn't something you conquer once and for all. It's something you live with, something you learn to navigate, one step at a time. And while it's not always pretty, it's always worth it. Because every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. There's a kind of strength that comes from surviving the darkest moments. It's not loud or flashy. It's quiet, steady, and unyielding. It's the strength that lets you stand back up after you've been knocked down 100 times. It's the strength that keeps you moving forward, even when the path ahead feels impossible. And that strength, it's inside all of us. Even when we can't see it, even when we don't believe it, it's there, waiting for us to reach out and grab hold of it. I've learned that the struggle isn't something to be ashamed of. It's not a sign of weakness. If anything, it's a testament to our resilience, to our ability to endure, to rise, to keep going, even when it feels like the world is against us. Some people think that strength means never falling, never breaking, but I think true strength is about knowing that it's okay to fall, to break, to struggle. Because every time we do, we're given a chance to rebuild ourselves, to become something stronger, something better, something unbreakable. So yes, the struggle is hard. It's messy and painful and exhausting. But it's also what makes us who we are. It's what teaches us to fight, to persevere, to hope. And no matter how heavy the burden, no matter how dark the night, I know this. I will be all right. Because I've faced the fire, and I've walked through it. I've fallen, and I've gotten back up. And no matter what comes next, I'll keep moving forward. Because that's who I am. The struggle doesn't define me. I define me. And as long as I have breath in my body, I'll keep fighting. Because no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times I fall, I will be all right. Resilience isn't born in moments of ease. It's forged in fire, shaped by the storms we survive. Every crack, every scar, every bruise, they're not signs of weakness. They're proof of strength, of battles fought and won, of a spirit that refuses to surrender. When I look back at the struggles I've endured, I see more than pain. I see growth. I see the person I've become, shaped by every challenge I've faced. The nights I thought would never end. The moments when it felt like the world was crashing down around me. Those were the moments that taught me what I'm capable of. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about rising again and again, no matter how many times you're knocked down. It's about staring down the darkness and saying, "You don't get to win." There's a quiet kind of power in resilience. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It doesn't seek recognition or applause. It simply keeps going, step by step, moment by moment, through every storm. And that's what I've learned to do, to keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. Every step I take is a victory. Every breath is proof that I'm still here, still fighting, still refusing to give up. The world can throw everything it has at me, and I'll keep standing, not because I'm invincible, but because I'm unyielding. And it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. It's about finding the beauty in the struggle, the light in the darkness. It's about realizing that every scar is a story, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. There's a strength in me that I never knew I had. It's not loud or obvious. It doesn't scream for attention, but it's there, steady and unshakable, guiding me through the hardest moments. I've learned to see the beauty in resilience. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up, day after day, no matter how tired or broken you feel. It's about finding a reason to keep going, even when everything in you is begging to stop. Sometimes resilience is just about taking one more step. It's about putting one foot in front of the other, even when the path ahead is uncertain. It's about trusting that you'll find your way, even if you can't see it yet. I don't know what the future holds. None of us do. But I know this. I will face it with everything I have. I will carry my scars, my struggles, my pain, and I will turn them into strength. I will use them as fuel to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep living. Because life isn't about avoiding the storms. It's about learning to dance in the rain. It's about finding joy in the midst of chaos, hope in the midst of despair. It's about realizing that the storms don't last forever, and neither does the pain. I've learned to be grateful for the struggles. They've taught me who I am, what I'm capable of. They've shown me the depth of my strength, the power of my spirit, and for that, I am thankful. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you don't have moments of doubt or fear. It means you feel those things and keep going anyway. It means you let the pain shape you, not break you. And that's what I choose to do every single day. I choose to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep living. I choose to rise no matter how many times I fall. I choose to believe that there's more to life than struggle, that there's beauty waiting on the other side of the pain. It's not always easy. In fact, it rarely is, but it's always worth it. Because every step I take, every breath, every moment of perseverance, it's a testament to my strength, my resilience, my will to survive. The world may try to break me, but I won't let it. I'll take every hit, every fall, every scar, and I'll turn them into stories of triumph. I'll show the world that no matter what it throws at me, I will rise. Because that's what resilience is. It's rising, it's fighting, it's refusing to give up no matter how hard it gets. It's choosing to believe in yourself even when no one else does. I've learned that the strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who struggle and keep going. They're the ones who face the storms head on and come out the other side stronger, wiser, braver. And that's who I strive to be every single day. Not perfect, not unshakable, but resilient. A fighter, a survivor, someone who chooses to rise, no matter what. There's a quiet kind of strength in resilience. It doesn't need validation or recognition. It doesn't need to be loud or flashy. It simply is. And that's the kind of strength I hold on to. The kind of strength that keeps me going, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. So yes, I will be all right. Not because life is easy, but because I am strong. Not because the pain goes away, but because I've learned to carry it. Not because the path gets easier, but because I've learned to walk it. I will be all right because I choose to be, because I choose to keep going, no matter what, because I choose to believe in myself, in my strength, in my resilience. And if I can do it, so can you. Because resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, it's something you earn, one step at a time, one battle at a time. So keep going, keep fighting, keep living. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how heavy the burden, remember this: you are stronger than you think, you are braver than you know, and you will be all right. If you've made it this far, you already know you're stronger than you think. But this is just the beginning. Your story isn't over, and your fight is far from done. It's not about never falling. It's about getting up every single time. So here's my challenge to you. Take that next step. Whatever it is, no matter how small, take it. Show yourself that you can. Prove to the world and to yourself that you are unbreakable. And when you do, share your strength. Share your story. Let someone else see that they're not alone in their struggle. You never know who you might inspire just by being you. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share this message, and let's remind the world that no matter how hard it gets, we will be all right. Because together, we rise.